His most famous song is called Romantic Homicide. That detail is not lost on anyone right now. David Anthony Burke, known to the world as D4VD, is 21 years old. 6 months ago, he was on a world tour. His music had been streamed billions of times. He had signed with the same label as Billie Eilish. He had written the official anthem for Fortnite. He was, by every measurable standard, one of the fastest rising young artists in the music industry. Today, he is in a Los Angeles jail cell without bail, charged with first-degree murder. And the victim was a 14-year-old girl named Celeste Rivas Hernandez. This is the story of how one of the most shocking cases in recent music history unfolded, what we know about the charges filed today, and what it reveals about the intersection of internet fame, youth, and the darkness that can hide behind a carefully constructed online image. To understand this case, you need to understand who D4VD actually was before April 2026. He was born in Queens, New York, and grew up in Houston, Texas. He was homeschooled after 7th grade, raised in a religious household, and spent most of his early years listening to gospel music and playing piano at church. His path to music was not the traditional one. It started with video games, specifically Fortnite. He was making gaming videos on YouTube, montages of Fortnite gameplay, when his mother made a suggestion that would change the direction of his life. To avoid copyright strikes from using other people's music in his videos, she suggested he make his own. He did. Using a free app called BandLab on his phone, he started creating original tracks in his bedroom. In July 2022, he uploaded a song called Romantic Homicide to TikTok. It went viral within days. The song, which blended lo-fi indie pop with emotional, introspective lyrics, connected with a generation of young listeners in a way that felt immediate and authentic. It peaked at number 4 on Billboard's Hot Rock and Alternative Songs chart. It has been streamed hundreds of millions of times. By September 2022, Darkroom and Interscope Records had signed him. By 2023, he had released his debut EP. By 2025, he was on a world tour and had written the official anthem for Fortnite, a full-circle moment that he described publicly as a dream come true. He was 20 years old. He had built the kind of career that most artists spend their entire lives trying to reach. And from the outside, everything looked like a story about what is possible when talent meets the right moment. The outside, as it turns out, was not the full picture. On September 8, 2025, workers at a tow yard in Hollywood noticed a smell coming from a Tesla that had been impounded the week before. The car had been reported abandoned in the Hollywood Hills, where neighbors said it had been sitting for over a month. When LAPD officers responded to the tow yard and investigated the source of the odor, they found what the coroner later confirmed were the decomposed remains of a teenage girl inside the front trunk of the vehicle. The car was registered to David Burke. D4VD was in Minneapolis at the time, in the middle of his world tour. His representative told NBC Los Angeles that he was cooperating with investigators. His tour continued for one more date, in Kansas City, before being canceled entirely. The victim was identified as Celeste Rivas Hernandez. She was 14 years old. She had grown up in Lake Elsinore, a city in Riverside County about 60 miles southeast of Los Angeles. Her parents had immigrated from El Salvador. She had been reported missing 3 separate times in the final year of her life, with authorities noting that this was not unusual behavior for her. She had last been seen alive, according to prosecutors, on April 23, 2025. She had visited Burke's home in the Hollywood Hills that day. She was never heard from again. For the months that followed the discovery of her remains, the investigation proceeded quietly. D4VD was identified as a suspect in November 2025. His family in Texas attempted to block grand jury subpoenas requiring their testimony. A judge declined their request. The grand jury proceeded. On April 16, 2026, LAPD Robbery Homicide Division detectives arrested David Burke at a residence in the Hollywood Hills, approximately 1 mile from the tow yard where Celeste's body had been found. He was held without bail. Today, April 20th, 2026, the Los Angeles District Attorney announced the formal charges. David Burke faces first-degree murder. He faces special circumstances allegations that, under California law, make him potentially eligible for the death penalty. Those special circumstances include lying in wait, murder for financial gain, and murdering a witness in an investigation. He also faces charges for lewd acts with a child and for the dismemberment of the victim's body. District Attorney Nathan Hushman spoke at a press conference alongside LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell. His words were careful and specific. He said there is physical evidence and forensic and digital evidence that prosecutors intend to present in court to prove these charges beyond a reasonable doubt. He declined to specify the cause of death, stating only that the coroner's report would be released shortly. He described the investigation as driven by a single purpose: to secure justice for Celeste Rivas and for those who loved her. He also said something that will stay with anyone who heard it. He described the situation as a parent's nightmare. A daughter goes out one night and never comes back. Celeste Rivas Hernandez was 14 years old. She went to a house in the Hollywood Hills. She was never heard from again. In the days since Burke's arrest, the internet has done what the internet does. It has gone back through everything, every interview, every lyric, every public statement. And what it has found has made an already disturbing case feel more deeply unsettling. His most famous song is called Romantic Homicide. The lyrics speak of emotional destruction, of being the cause of someone's end, of a relationship that takes on the qualities of a crime. Millions of people heard that song and felt understood. Today, those same listeners are returning to those words with entirely different eyes. There is also an unreleased track attributed to Burke that has circulated online, titled Celeste. The song includes a girl's name that matches the victim's. Authorities have not publicly confirmed any connection between the song and the case. But the existence of that track, in the current context, has generated conversation that prosecutors and investigators will almost certainly need to address. It is important to say clearly what we do not know. We do not know what happened inside that house on April 23, 2025. We do not know the full sequence of events. We do not know the complete body of evidence that investigators have assembled. David Burke has been charged with a crime. He has not been convicted. The legal process that follows will be the place where the facts are tested and where whatever happened to Celeste Rivas Hernandez is made fully public. What we do know is this: a 14-year-old girl is gone. Her family reported her missing 3 times. Each time, the system returned her to a situation that ultimately led her to a house in the Hollywood Hills from which she never returned. Her remains were found in a car belonging to a famous musician months after she disappeared, discovered not by investigators but by workers at a tow yard who noticed a smell. That is the reality underneath the music and the chart positions and the viral songs and the world tours. The entertainment industry has a long and documented history of failing to protect young and vulnerable people from the predatory behavior of those who hold power and celebrity. The cases are not rare. They are a pattern. What changes is the name, the platform, the decade. What does not change is the fundamental dynamic: a person with fame, money, and access, and a young person without the resources or protection to be safe around them. Celeste Rivas Hernandez was not a celebrity. She was not a public figure. She was a 14-year-old girl from a working-class family in Riverside County who, for reasons that will emerge in court, ended up at the home of a TikTok star in the Hollywood Hills. She deserved to come home. The case of David Burke will move through the California court system. The charges are serious. The evidence, according to prosecutors, is substantial. The death penalty is on the table. For the millions of people who listened to his music and felt something real in it, this moment asks a hard question. Not about the music itself. Art can be separated from the person who made it. The hard question is about what we miss when we follow someone's curated image, what we do not see when we watch the highlight reel. What is actually happening in the spaces between the songs and the posts and the interviews? In this case, what was happening in those spaces was something that ended a 14-year-old girl's life. Glam Exposed will continue to follow this case as it develops, because the truth always comes out.